Hello again, everybody. I'm Paul the Nitro Scholars here. Welcome to this edition of Nitro Memories. Thank you so very much for joining us. Today, we continue on with our look at probably, in my opinion, the worst year in wrestling history by looking at 1990. February 1990 saw Sting get injured in the cage. More about that in a moment. Wrestle War 1990. Oh, dear God. And meanwhile, in the World Wrestling Federation, the Ultimate Challenge gained steam to WrestleMania 6. So without any further ado, let's begin. We'll start with the NWA and the Clash of the Champions. Now, entering this night, we all thought that the Four Horsemen were intact. Sting, the Andersons, and Nature Boy Ric Flair. Well, because Sting got a title opportunity at Wrestle War 90, for the NWA World Heavyweight title by winning the Iron Man tournament at Starrcade 89. That didn't sit too well with the other Horsemen, and they told Sting, if you want to stay in the Horsemen, you will drop your title opportunity right now if you want to stay with the Horsemen. Well, Sting didn't want to do that, so the Horsemen had to kick him out. So that's what they did at the Clash. They ganged up on Sting. Ric Flair came up, told us, you listen up, Sting. Get it straight. Smarten up. You drop out of this title match right now before you get hurt. You're out of the Horsemen. Woo! And comes and nails Sting from behind. Now, you think Sting was going to try to try to get a receipt? But it cost Sting to try to get that receipt. Let me run down the results for the Clash first, and then I'll tell you about what happened. Clash of the Champions, by the way, I'm using the Wrestling Yearbook Inside the Ropes 2024, available at Amazon.com. Clash of the Champions 10, Texas Shootout on February 6, 1990. Steve Williams defeated the Samoan Savage. Brian Pillman and Tom Singh defeated the Mod Squad. Mil Mascaras defeated Cactus Jack. Yep, the Nestea plunge angle. Norman the Lunatic that took on and defeated Kevin Sullivan in a Falls Count Anywhere match. The Road Warriors defeated the Skyscrapers. That was now Dangerous Dan Spivey and Mean Mark Callis. The Steiner Brothers defeated Doom in a title versus mask match. Pulled the mask off. It was Ron Simmons and Butch Reed of Doom. They would leave Woman in a couple after that particular bout and would hook up with Teddy Long. More about that on a future episode. And in the main event, of course, the Horsemen. Ric Flair, Arn, and Ole Anderson defeated Gary Hart International, Buzz Sawyer, the Great Muta, and the Dragon Master inside of a steel cage. But that was not the main story. The main story was Sting getting revenge for getting slighted, for getting turned on. He started climbing the cage. Flair and them try to get rid of Sting. Officials pulling Sting down. No, Sting. No, Sting. Don't do that, Sting. As Sting comes down, he injures his knee. And you can see him limping. And I'm looking at that. It's like, oh, dear God. Well, there goes Sting's opportunity. He was hobbling on the knee. There's Flair jumping out of the cage, going after the Stinger. Woo! I'm going to beat you up, Sting. Woo! He went and mauled Sting along with the other Horsemen. Sting got hurt. The next day, we come to find out Sting suffered a knee injury, that he was going to be put on the shelf till at least July of 1990. So basically, WCW took their biggest opportunity and nearly blew it based on Sting injuring his leg in a cage match. Unreal. So that was the Clash of the Champions. Now WCW's got a problem. So what do? They turned Lex Luger babyface and challenged Ric Flair for the World's Heavyweight title at Wrestle War 90. Which occurred about 2 weeks later on February 20th. Let me read you the results for that one. Wrestle War 90 happened on the 25th, of February in Greensboro. Kevin Sullivan and Buzz Sawyer defeated the Dynamic Dudes. Finally, the Dudes got beaten. That ended their team at the end of that pay-per-view. Thank God they sucked as a gimmick. Norman the Lunatic defeated Cactus Jack. The Rock and Roll Express defeated the Midnight Express, the only decent bout of the night. The Road Warriors defeated the Skyscrapers in a Chicago street fight. It was the Masked Skyscraper and Mean Mark Callis. We all knew the Skyscrapers were ending after that, folks. Brian Pillman and Tom Sink defeated the Fabulous Freebirds. The Steiner brothers defeated the Andersons. And in the main event, Nature Boy Ric Flair defeated Lex Luger by countout. Sting was in his corner on crutches. Ole Anderson tried to go after Sting. Luger went out after Ole, got counted out of the ring. So that was basically Wrestle War 90. Now, as far as that goes, it seems like now they're focusing on Flair versus Luger now until Sting gets his knee better. But it's not getting any better in World Championship Wrestling. Yeah, you got the Steiners, and they're exciting, and the Freebirds are still the Freebirds. At least they got rid of those dynamic dudes. Thank God, they sucked. But really, what do you got? Not really much. The Horsemen, well, I don't know. It kind of didn't work out, even when they added Barry Windham and Sid Vicious later on. That'll be for another episode. But quite frankly, it was a hit. It was a major miss by the NWA in 1990. So that, in essence, is where we're at right now in 1990 as far as the NWA goes. And we'll see what happens in March when Luger and Flair continue their feud. Moving on to the World Wrestling Federation, momentum was gathering for the Ultimate Challenge at WrestleMania 6, with the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan would collide, champion versus champion, title for title, at the Skydome in Toronto. They intensified that feud with Saturday night's main event when Hogan and Warrior took on and defeated Mr. Perfect and the Genius. Oh, God, the Genius. And when they beat them, the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan had a melee with Perfect and the Genius. Warrior accidentally hit Hulk. Hogan gets up and says, "What are you doing that, brother? What are you doing that, brother?" Warrior's like, Hogan. God, I'm like, okay. I hope the promos work. Sucked. Even the Warrior. It's like, what the heck is he talking about? Good guy, is he on the sauce? Is he on the sauce? Really? The promo sucked. But nonetheless, the Ultimate Challenge was gaining momentum now towards WrestleMania. Of course, also Demolition was trying to become the first three-time tag team champions since Mr. Fuji and Professor Toru Tanaka did it. They were going after Andre the Giant and Haku. By the way, barely ever defended the World Wrestling Federation tag team titles. Why did they ever team up? I don't know. Excuse me. Brutus Beefcake was in a war with Mr. Perfect. They would have their bout at WrestleMania. Jake the Snake Roberts and Ted DiBiase had a pretty good feud going. Jake got the $1 million belt. He put it in the sack where Damien was at. The big boss man was ordered by Ted DiBiase, go get that title. Only to find out from the big boss man that Slick was paid off to tell the boss man to do that. And the big boss man did not have a price, and he became a fan favorite. And Jake Roberts still had the $1 million belt. Roddy Piper began a feud with Bad News Brown. That was a miss. Big time miss. More about what happened at WrestleMania with Roddy Piper's look at WrestleMania 6 for a future episode. So that basically what happened in the World Wrestling Federation in 1990. The Ultimate Challenge. Oh, dear God, the promos are going to suck for this one. And that, in essence, is the World Wrestling Federation. Next time, we'll look at March 1990 in the World Wrestling Federation. And with that, that's going to do it for this edition of Nitro Memories. Next time, we'll look at March 1990. As I mentioned, Flair and Luger are going to continue the feud. The Steiners are preparing for Doom now, who are gaining some major momentum. Meanwhile, in the World Wrestling Federation, the Ultimate Challenge. How to cut a decent promo. I'll tell you more about that next time and more on the next edition of Nitro Memories. That's going to do it for now. For everyone here, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyver saying, so long, everybody.